The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
Hello, friends. It's time to talk about some Dallas Cowboys football and some coaching search here and all that good stuff. Cowboys StoryLine, Wednesday, January the 22nd. I'm Nick Eatman. And I want to hear from you guys. I'm sure you have things to say. 888-855-2297 is the number to call. Since we last met, the Cowboys have had 3 or 4 different coaches that they've met with, including last night, a long coaching visit interview with Brian Schottenheimer, the Cowboys offensive coordinator. That was the title. I say that in air quotes because that's what it was. He was not the play caller, but he's the offensive coordinator, and he's been the offensive coordinator for a lot of teams, and he's been quarterback's coach, and he's been around for a while. And as it stands right now, and again, this show is you guys watch it at different times. Some people watching live, some people watch it later in the day. As it it's 9:30 Central Time here on Wednesday. And I'll say this now, I think Brian Schottenheimer is the leader in the clubhouse to be the next head coach of the Cowboys. Not sure that that's going to happen, but if you had to have a favorite, I would say he's the guy, and him and Kellen Moore are probably the two front runners at the moment. The difference is that Schottenheimer could be hired today, and Kellen Moore may not be for at least a week, or could be 2 more weeks after that, depending on what happens with the Eagles. All right, 888-855-2297 is the number to call. I got 2 people already on the line. Let's start it off with Robbie, Cocoa Beach, Florida.
What's up, Nick? How's your day going?
Going good. How are you, Robbie?
I'm good, but I wish we'd make a decision already.
Well,
I get due diligence and interviewing, and I know the Fraser rule or whatever it was called. I can't remember.
Rooney rule, yeah.
Rooney rule. Thank you. Sorry. But, man, it seems like we're just spinning gears, wasting time to find it. But I know it's better to hire a good candidate than just hire somebody.
I agree with that.
So my question for you today is explain the differences between Schottenheimer and Kellen Moore. Can you do that for us?
Yeah. Yep. All right.
That's it.
All right. Thanks, Robbie. I mean, yes. The snarky answer to that is one of the coordinators is leading his team on the verge of the Super Bowl, and the other one didn't call plays and had an offense and was supposed to be kind of managing an offense that wasn't very good last year and was not prepared all the time. I mean, that's one way to look at it. Schottenheimer's been around the league for a long, long time as well, and he obviously interviews well. There's no doubt about it. Here he is getting a chance to interview with the Cowboys, and there's some people that think that he's the guy that could be the next head coach. And he's interviewed well in the past because he's gotten other jobs. Hadn't stayed long in some of these. Got a lot going for him with from a pedigree standpoint. With his dad Marty Schottenheimer, and people like him. Very likable person, without a doubt. Kellen. We've just seen him call plays, and then again, I mean, you can poke holes in everything. I mean, how good is he when he's got Saquon Barkley running the ball? He was running the Chargers offense last year, not so great. They had some weapons too, and then it didn't go so great. We've seen him in Dallas. Dak had one of his best years here with Kellen, so I think a young, innovative offensive mind type guy. But it's more than that. It's more than that. It's also leading a team of men, grown men, rich men. How do you inspire them to go play and go win games? And can they do that? And that's the big question. So we'll see. I think the players, they might lean towards Schottenheimer, but I think that I think Dak would be fine with Kellen Moore as well. I'll just leave it at that. I know we got a lot more callers to get to. Just on the surface, that's kind of the differences. I think Schottenheimer's been around, seen a lot more, probably got a lot more connections throughout the league. But Kellen's been here, been doing it for a while now as well. Was on the staff, I think, 2018, I guess, maybe 17 with the Cowboys, quarterbacks coach. He's kind of worked himself up too. So he's been around. I think both of them have evolved. And we'll see if they're the only two, but those are the two that seem to be the favorites as we stand right now. Let's go Zach in Atlanta.
Nick, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right, man. I missed you. It's the once a week thing is it's a new rhythm, but we're all getting through it.
Not a fan myself. I'd like to be on it all the time, but that's where we are. We're taking a little bit of a break, but we still, you still got shows, at least 2 shows I think on the site every day from Monday through Thursday. So not bad, but not the same. You don't get the chance to call in as much, obviously, as you do on this one.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, you and Beam need an off season too. I guess you're getting it more than Beam. Beam's running point on everything. But shout out to y'all. Y'all are the best duo.
Thank you.
Well, hey, obviously last night Schottenheimer interviewed. I've really been wanting the coaching search to be beyond anybody who's been with the Cowboys, at least in the past 12 years, because Jason Garrett, Dak coming through Jason Garrett's offense. Kellen was in the fold, and he stuck around into the Mike McCarthy era. And then even when, I don't know, I just feel like Dak has had the same offense his whole career. Jason Garrett, Kellen Moore, and even Mike McCarthy kept the same language, some of those ideas. And obviously Brian Schottenheimer, he's the leading candidate. So, Twitter says, and maybe he really is. You said that at the top of the show. So 2 questions. One, can you give us just a vote of confidence for Brian Schottenheimer? I mean, anything to pull from, because I'm not excited about him or Kellen, honestly, if they are the hires. So a vote of confidence for Schottenheimer. And then do you think the offense would be different? Because, he comes from a football family. He was in Seattle and all that. So what would the offense look like if Schottenheimer had the reins, because he wasn't calling plays this year? So that's all I got, man. Great to hear from you. I'll hang up and listen.
Well, thanks, Zach. Thanks for the call. And here's the thing. I mean, there's not a lot of confidence, obviously, in that move, and there's not supposed to be. I mean, honestly, the fans are not supposed to have that. I mean, why would they? And again, I'm not trying to shoot this thing down. I'm just saying, there, as a fan, if you're sitting here going, this doesn't make sense. It's not supposed to make sense. Don't feel bad for that, because the track record doesn't show places that he's been here for a long time and a lot of success here. So his strength is not something you're going to see. It's obviously between in the interview rooms. It's meeting with it's the way you treat people, the way he talks to the coaches, the players. He's very, very well respected and well liked within the building. But that's not the stuff you're going to see. Fans are going to look at it and go, what have they done? Where's the success? And so that's hard to quantify right now, because you're not going to see that. Now, you asked for a vote of confidence. I don't know what to think about the players liking the coach or voting for this coach, because high school students don't get to pick their principal, or their teachers. They're going to go a different route. They want to go what's comfortable for them. So is that the case? Or is it no, I think he will be great for this team? I don't know. That one's hard. I think you just kind of put that one off to the side of what the players think. There's some talk within the building that Schottenheimer got to have a little bit more of a voice as the season went on, when they started having a little bit more success, running the ball, offensive line, blocking schemes, things like that. At least that's what we've been told a little bit. So that him and Mike, I'm not saying didn't see eye to eye, but he didn't get an opportunity to kind of voice his opinions as much. And so that's kind of where we are. It's a mystery. This one's just kind of come out of nowhere, because, like I said earlier, he was the offensive coordinator in title for an offense that had left a lot on the table. And so you just didn't expect that he would be the guy. But then again, there's things we don't see all the time as far as football mind and personality and leadership traits that I think this team and some of the people here, that the decision makers, really, really covet, really like, and they think that he could be, a good leader for this team. So I don't know. I'm not answering your question probably because I don't have those answers for you. What I'm telling you is the things that the Cowboys like about Brian Schottenheimer are things that go well beyond just stats that you don't necessarily see. All right, let's go to Davion in Illinois.
What's up, Nick? What's going on? What's going on, buddy?
How are you doing?
Just got out of work, so yeah, you know where I'm at. Tired, but yeah, I had to try to stay up to get on because you got the one time a week, so I got to try to get in when I can get in.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. What do you got?
Well, we had a space last night, and we're gonna have another one tonight. But I got a theory that I was just sitting there thinking about yesterday about this coaching thing, and it might satisfy a lot of things that with this team. And kind of get your thoughts on it. Okay, my theory is we make Zimmer the coach, Shotty the OC, bring Jason Whitney in as the, I guess, tight ends coach most likely. Mm-hmm. Keep Lunda as offensive line coach. Mm-hmm. Maybe Frazier come in and work with Zimmer as defensive coordinator, possibly. I was thinking that they probably worked together before, but they haven't. Zimmer replaced Frazier when he went to Minnesota.
Replaced them, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought they did. That's why I did a little research to make sure I wasn't tripping. But either way, because I know Al Harris is pretty much gone, according to Patrick C. and them. So I would think you probably bring Frazier in. But it satisfies a lot of things. I mean, if you hire Zimmer, I think, fans won't go too crazy. You bring in Jason to be, I guess, a heir apparent, which, that's what the rumor is what they're trying to do is have him somewhere on the staff.
Yeah.
And then Shotty can still be the play caller, so Dak is comfortable. They add whatever Shotty wanted to do last year. They can add into the offense and be able to get this thing moving. And, yeah, I think that's the theory I've been in my head. I mean, I'm just trying to get myself off the ledge of if we go with Shotty, I ain't really feeling that at all. But, we'll see.
No, I'm with you there. And thanks for the call, Davian. I think we're going to have a lot of callers today. We're going to keep this thing rolling. I appreciate you calling in. Here's my problem with that. And it sounds like you don't even love that theory. You just like, this is probably the way it's going to be. Let's deal with it, which is what Cowboy fans have had to kind of, that's a mindset they've had to adopt for a while. But what I don't love about that is this team was 7-10 last year. It's below the mark of where they should be. They need to be. They need to be in the playoffs. That's the goal. That's you've got a quarterback that's highest paid in the league. You've got highest paid or one of the highest paid receivers. You've got Micah Parsons that's probably trying to be the highest paid defensive player. That maybe that's going to happen next year. You've got playmakers. You've got young talent. You had some Pro Bowlers still. You've got guys on this team. You've got talent. You should be in the playoffs. So all that being said, why are you keeping everybody from last year's team? Like your head coach would be somebody that got promoted. Your defensive coordinator stays the same. I mean, obviously, the only coordinator that's going to be different is your special teams coordinator, and he's got, they had the most success than anybody. So at some point, my point is, something has to change to get over the hump for next year. Just bringing back some of the same faces from last year and just tweaking a couple things is probably not good enough. So I like some change. I'm fine with one of the sides of the ball. If you kept Zimmer, then I need a new head coach and new offensive coordinator. If I have Schottenheimer here, that I need a new defensive coordinator. I need something different. And I've said it several times. I still think somebody with some 3-4 experience that can, switch some things up a little bit. I'd like to see Micah maybe a little bit differently. What he has is working, but I think that you have an opportunity to maybe prolong his career even more. That being said, they need to sign him, of course, to a long-term deal. All right, let's go to Brian in Kansas City.
Good morning, sir.
Hey, Brian.
How are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
No complaints. Hey, I was thinking yesterday when I was listening to, people talk about the interviews and such and the process, when it comes to leadership, what's the special sauce when it works in the longer terms? When we see the Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan, Belichick and Brady, Reed and Mahomes, like what is that special sauce between the team, the star player, and the coach that when it works, and it works for more than just a Super Bowl,
Well, it's like, chocolate and ice cream. I mean, you got something great here and you got something great and you mix it together and look at that. You got a sundae. I mean, Andy Reid is great and so is Patrick Mahomes, and Phil Jackson is great and Michael Jordan was even greater. You know what I'm saying? I just think you have those are great examples, you said, and there's not a ton of them, but they are great examples of you've got guys that greatness that kind of form together that actually make each other better because of it. And you just don't have that in a lot of areas. I mean, I think those are 3 great ones. I don't know if you could come up with 3 more just right off the top. And you went back for 30 years, 40 years of sports, not just football, So it's rare, and when it happens, it's special.
Well, and it really is a special relationship because, like you said, they don't last.
Yeah.
It's just not a lot of those. Somebody's ego gets stepped on.
Egos,
and,
yep.
Next thing you know, everybody's moving on. Hey, so here's my question for you today. My question is, because we don't know what schemes we're running next year, all that stuff, all the impacts of what kind of special teams are we running, what kind of offense, what kind of defense. I'm in favor of what you said. I think Micah would be better in a 3-4. How, in your opinion, based on what you've seen in your lifetime and in working with the Cowboys, how long can they drag this out like it's a negative. Yeah. How long can this process last before it starts really negatively impacting how you're building your team for next year? And I'll hang up and listen, man.
Hold on, Brian.
Good to talk to you.
Hold on, Brian. Just to clarify, you're saying this coaching search, how long can they go with it? Are you talking about right now? Okay.
Yeah, how long for all of them, because we don't know what any of the systems are for next year.
Yeah.
So how do you get, doesn't that make Will's job very difficult?
Yeah.
So how long, in your opinion, could it go before, okay, now we're creating our own problem because we don't know what we're looking for,
yeah.
In terms of personnel.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I mean, and you make some good points there. I don't think they're too late in the party here. I really don't. I mean, there's other teams that don't have head coaches as well. There's a lot of changes that still are gonna happen. There's coaches that without a contract around other teams, and so what I'm saying is it's not like all the good coaches are it's all dried up and they can't get anybody. They'll be fine. I think they have an idea of who it's going to be, and gotta be careful how I say this, but Schottenheimer and Kellen Moore have been here, obviously, okay, and they understand how this goes, and so I think that you're saying that well, how long can this go? Because you've got to start at the top, and then you've got to fill all the positions. Well, I think some of the positions are getting filled before the head coach, and we've seen that in the past. And what kind of head coach will be okay with that? Well, one that's never been a head coach before, looking for a shot, pun intended, and would be okay with certain scenarios, especially people that they've worked with. So what I'm saying is I think the Cowboys have their tight ends coach. I think they have their O-line coach. I think they're getting close to getting their defensive coordinator. And so all that being said, you're going to get a head coach that's going to be comfortable with the situation and probably know a lot of those people as well. Hope some of that made sense. All right, let's go to Ronnie in New Jersey.
Nick, how you doing?
I'm good. That's okay. What's up, man?
I was just talking to Chris, and I was telling him, I'm like, man, we at least got to get 2 shows a week, because once a week, it just feels like such a long wait to be able to talk to you again, or to listen to the show, listen to the fans.
Did he give you Derek's email? Did he give you that?
We're gonna have to. He actually said we would have to talk to Derek about that, but. Hey, can we put in a petition for at least back to twice a week at least?
I'll sign it. Yeah. I'll sign it. Yeah.
But Nick, with this coaching search, I was actually hoping that they would have had like a broader span of interviews and candidates for the coaching search, because I'll be honest with you, I think it was last week or the week before where you mentioned that yes, we're loyal to the Cowboys. Yes, we've been watching them for so long. Listen, I buy Sunday ticket every year just so I could watch every single game. But at the same time, Nick, I'm telling you right now, I do not want to see Kellen Moore being the head coach, because if that's what they're waiting for, that's the day I'm going to just cancel my ticket. I'm sorry, but are we looking for the number 1 overall pick next year? I mean, what are we going to be looking for if they pick Kellen Moore? Because I hope that's not what they're waiting for. There's so many good candidates out there. I mean, you still got Aaron Glenn. You still got Cliff Kingsbury, I think his name is, from the Commanders.
I'd take Kellen Moore. I'd take Kellen Moore over Cliff Kingsbury all day.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, 100%. I would. But I mean, I don't know.
He got a young quarterback. I mean, look at that. Look at what he's doing with this rookie quarterback. He's making this guy look good. I wouldn't go against Kingsbury because of what was in Arizona. Because Arizona, come on, that guy. The guy had the quarterback there had a contract where they needed him to study in order for whatever expectations they wanted to meet. So if you got to put something like that in a contract for a quarterback, that's telling you something. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't put that on the coach.
Yeah, I'm just telling you. I mean, me personally, I'd rather have Kellen Moore, but that's okay. I mean, everybody's got their own opinion. Just like your opinion is, and you say you're done or you're checking out, which I don't believe, Ronnie. I don't believe that. I mean, come on now. Like I understand. I don't.
It's more like, what are we looking for? If we're getting Kellen Moore as the head coach, like we always said, like this team needs discipline. Kellen Moore, when he was here, the offense was doing pretty good. What was the defense doing, Nick? That defense, when that offense was looking pretty good, was getting so many turnovers.
Yeah.
They were playing outstanding. I mean, you were getting the most out of players that were good. Defensive coordinator was making them look great. So you got to look at both sides of the coin. It's not just, hey, he made Dak look good. Yeah, when you're getting the ball on the 30, you know what I'm saying? Like when you're getting so many turnovers, you have no choice. But and like you said, Rex Ryan. Why aren't we looking at a guy like Rex Ryan? And I would trade a first-round pick for McVay. Right now, today, I will give up that 12th overall pick and next year's second-round pick. Wouldn't you? Thanks for listening to my call, Nick.
All right, thanks. I'd flip it. I'd flip it. I'd give this year's second and next year's one. But I would do that too, 100%. Look at that guy's draft history. I mean, look, who are their star players over there? You know, I mean, look at the Rams. I mean, look at Kyron Williams, 5th-round running back. Look at Puka Nacua, who I think is a 5th-rounder, maybe a 4th. Cooper Kupp, 3rd or 4th round. Matthew Stafford was revived his career. So, not revived it, actually made him better. I mean, he didn't revive his career. Took him to another level later on in his career, usually when it goes the other way. So, I would do that too, but I don't think that's happening. I would look into the situations like that. And so, and who knows? Who knows if the Cowboys are done yet? You know, I mean, there's part of this it's a gaming situation here. You know what I mean? There's some gamesmanship. We'll see if that's just what it looks like right now. These are two candidates. And I get it. I totally understand not being excited about it, and it's hard to sell. Like those are tough to sell to fans. But you know, they'll do it, and you'll buy it, and we'll all buy it, and we'll be here and figure out and see what happens and find a way to get excited about whatever it is. But yeah, I think right now I totally understand the frustration because with those two candidates, it's hard to look at and go, well, you know, what's so great about it? Now you say when Kellen was here, look at that defense. I mean, I don't remember the 85 Bears being on defense. I mean, I remember some turnovers and Micah Parsons was playing there in 21 and yeah, I mean they were they were good, but I remember it kind of being it was a good offense, good defense. It was a good combination. Those are good football teams on both sides of the ball. Let's take a break here on Cowboys Storyline. We'll be right back after this.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
How do you tell the world about all the great gifts in the Yeti store? Let her rip, Troy.
All right, folks, let's get started with the Yeti French Press. Enjoy coffee that stays hot for hours in a French press. 34 ounce for you, 6'4" for the cruise. The Yeti French Press. Up next, waterproof bags. Bags waterproof. Submersible waterproof doubles. Waterproof bags. World's mostly water, so get a waterproof Yeti bag. Do I smell something cooking? Oh, new cast iron skillets made to be passed down like Mama's recipes. Take a steak, cornbread, cobbler's pot pie, and potatoes next level with 3 sizes of Yeti cast iron skillets.
Gear, gifts, and product experts. Visit the Yeti store on McKinney Street and at South Lake Town Square today.
Altec Lansing has been perfecting sound since 1927, bringing you decades of audio excellence to elevate your Dallas Cowboys tailgate ritual. Equip your next pregame with the Sound Rover 180 with 6 hours of playtime, built-in microphone, multicolor light modes, and a rugged exterior that's built to last. Visit AltecLansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off your Sound Rover 180. That's AltecLansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off. Altec Lansing, official audio partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
All right, welcome back to Cowboys Storyline. We've got almost an hour. We can still talk about the Cowboys coaching search. What happens after that? Not a lot of talk about players, and the thing is you just don't know. You don't know where they're going to be, what's the setup going to be, where they're going to be asked to do. So this is a game of dominoes, and the first one. Well, I say it's the first one. I did mention before the break that some of these positions are already sort of in place, and from my understanding. The Cowboys were trying to do that at special teams. They were trying to do that with John Fossil. It just got to a situation where they were trying to wait and see what we got here. All right. Thanks, Chris. They were trying to wait and see, obviously, get something down for the head coaching position, and Fossil decided, hey, I've got to go here in Tennessee and they've got a coach and they've got a plan, and I can't wait. Because the thing is that, yeah, you can wait and say I'm on staff, but then the new coach comes in, may have something completely different. And so that would kind of leave him out. So I think he decided he had to make a decision here. So that's what he did, and don't necessarily blame him for that. Timing and he can do that because he's the most accomplished probably coach on the staff. the other guy, and Zimmer as well, but I think Fossil was probably a lot more coveted than some of the other coaches, and so he decided to do that. But some of the other assistants are kind of in limbo right now, kind of waiting. All right, let's go to Jeremy in D.C. on the line.
Hey, yo, Nick, what's up, brother?
How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. What's up?
I'm all right, man. You didn't hurt nobody today.
Not today. We'll see how the day goes on.
All right, so I got 2 names for you, man, for coaching. I think my man Rob in Vegas going to like this. I want to troll him a little bit. So I got Rex Ryan and Matt Patricia. Nah, but I was going with Pete Carroll because I feel like everybody was comparing Dak to Russell Wilson when he first came out, and I feel like Pete Carroll. And now that I heard more about Shady, I think he should be in consideration as well because they are the only 2 that knew how to use Russell Wilson and took him to a championship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, are you saying Schottenheimer as the offensive coordinator, play caller, or as the head coach? Or both?
I would like to see him at least try to call some plays because Mike didn't even let him call plays. So
yeah.
You know, so I mean, it's worth a try. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you could just, have like the reason why I'm going with Pete Carroll because he the one that put Chris Rashad and Dan Quinn and all those guys together, and that's basically what our defense runs like. What those guys put together, you know. And,
he puts good staffs together. There's no doubt about it. He has a history of that.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with Chucky either because he can do a good like offense, but you probably would have to help him with that defensive staff. And I don't mind Mike Zimmer coming back because it looks like he's the only one that's a Jalen Daniels stopper. So, so they might want to think about bringing him back. And if they do bring him back, what do you think about having that offensive coordinator that left that was in New Orleans as our offensive coordinator? If they just have Dan Quinn as the head coach because he was running some cool plays that everybody was saying that they liked when New Orleans beat the brakes off of us.
Yeah, but you know, coordinators get figured out too. You know, that's what makes you a great coordinator is that you can always be a step ahead. I don't know New Orleans looked great in week 1 and week 2. It didn't continue for them. So I don't know. I don't know if that's great, but I like a lot of your points that you're making. And
I had Ben Johnson high on my list, man, until that 3rd and 1 play. So
yeah. Well,
but that's all I got for you, Nick, man. I'll holler at you next time.
Yeah, thanks. You know, it's funny. We were having that discussion at lunch yesterday about Jaden Daniels playing against the Cowboys, and he really didn't have a lot of success. I mean, didn't win the first game. The second game, he was pulled at halftime, and they weren't winning, and he had led them to a field goal, so he didn't have a lot of success against the Cowboys. Now, Dan Quinn goes for 2 after that miracle touchdown with 30 seconds to go, and goes for 2 to try to get the win. I don't think the Cowboys stop him. I think they probably win the game, but they kicked the extra point, they missed it, and then. You know, we all know how that ended, but a lot of stuff there. Let me throw out one point though that you said about Schottenheimer calling plays, and there's a belief inside the building, and I've heard this from 2 different people that some of the wrinkles, some of the different things that they were trying to do, Schottenheimer has been kind of pushing for that for a while. And it was met, probably not favorably by McCarthy. At least that's the narrative. And it's easy to say that now. You know, that stuff happens a lot. The Turpin running the ball stuff was some things that Schottenheimer was trying to kind of get in there, and some of the new wave offensive things that we started to sort of see, those were kind of pushed by him. And so that's why I think if he's got support by the players, especially the offensive players, it's because they kind of know that he's got some, he's got an offensive mind and has done some things like that and was trying to do that stuff here. Again, I'm not real big on talking bad about guys that are not in the building anymore. because that's easy to do. You hear it all the time now, Now, to be fair, heard some of it while he was here, so it's not just a guy's gone. But I think that's sort of that's the narrative we're going to hear a lot of. If it is Schottenheimer, it's that he basically was handcuffed and couldn't do what he wanted to do. All right, let's go to Sebastian in Savannah, Georgia.
Hey there, how we doing, Mr. Eatman?
How are you doing? Glad you made it. You got in.
Man, for real, it's like the DMV on a Friday. It's hard to get to the line.
True.
But
true.
Glad to get to talk to you guys. I'm going to keep it fast so other people can get in here, too.
Appreciate it.
When I hear Schottenheimer, it did make me turn my head and go, because I really don't think, or personally, I don't feel anybody who had anything to do with that offense last year is who I want as a head coach. Who I'm really pulling for because of his performance and how everyone performs under him, Al Harris. I would love to see him get a shot if we're going to stay in building. If we're going to go out of the building and we're actually going to let go of a head coach and close out the Mike McCarthy era, do a real coach search. Find a real people mover at head coach. Hell, when I heard Schottenheimer, I was like, I would rather Will McClay be the head coach. But I don't know enough about Schottenheimer. Like I said, I don't dislike him as a person. I've heard him like 1 or 2 times on interviews, and that's about it. But I would love for Al Harris to get a shot. And when you see people like Dan Quinn go, and I called earlier in the year, last year, and I told you that Dan was going to turn that team around. And now they're in the playoffs. And we're sitting here like, this is the guy that you let go a year before you were going to let Mike go anyway. And we scapegoated him because we lost that playoff game. But he took our team from a historically bad defense to a historically good defense. And we let him go, kept Mike, and then let Mike go the next year anyway. So I want to see us get a real situation started.
Yeah, you say that, but there's no way you could have done it the other way. There's no way you could have fired Mike and hired him after the Packer game. I mean, I was almost surprised that he got a job after that game.
I don't disagree at all. But if you remember in both of the San Francisco games, it was always the offense underperforming.
Yeah.
And that was the year that they were like, okay, fine. This time it's Dan's fault. But like I said, the reason I was happy for Dan to get a job, like you said, was because of that opportunity. I was like, that was one time where he did fail us, but he never failed us prior to that. Mike has failed us on several occasions. I think it's Jesse Holley who says it all the time that a good head coach is worth 2 or 3 games a season. I want us to get a coach who's going to help us win games instead of working against us. But listen, I'm going to hang up and listen. You guys have a great day. And there's one last thing. The worst part about not making the playoffs is we only get one storyline a week, and it's killing me. You guys have a great day.
All right. Appreciate it. I think Jeremy's starting a petition. Jeremy in D.C., Sebastian sounds like he would sign it. You say there may be something to the fact of when these coaches are interviewing before the game. I mean, again, I'm sure it's happened for a long time, and maybe it's just we're just seeing it recently. Dan Quinn's defense looked like he was run by a coordinator that was interviewing for other jobs. That when they played the Packer game last year in the playoffs. I mean, that's what it looked like. And then you could say the same, I guess, for Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn was has been interviewing for a lot of jobs as well. That would be a guy that I would bring in. That would be my guy. If I could take any of these candidates that have been talked about, it would be Aaron Glenn. You want to bring a former player in or a familiar face, which is what we're doing so many times around here. Bring him in. He was here for 2 years. Parcells guy, old school guy, relates to the players, tough, gritty. You can't be an undersized cornerback and play 10 years in the NFL if you don't have some fight. I mean, you have to. And I mean, I said it before. I mean, it's like that's Jordan Lewis before Jordan Lewis, and he was better than Jordan Lewis. I mean, he was an outside corner that played on an island and was told he was too small and for years, and he was great. And I think he coaches the same way. Maybe he's with the Jets now, or he's going to be in the Jets or the Saints. I mean, I haven't even heard about an interview here. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but that would be my guy. But let's keep it going though. Let's go to Mike in Birmingham, England.
Hello, Nick. Nice to speak to you again.
How are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. It's been a little while because this new off-season time isn't good for me. But that's okay.
Sorry.
You can't please all the people all the time. But I'm very much on board with the let's bombard Derek with requests for a second time slot during the week.
Okay.
So a couple of weeks ago when the season ended, you had quite a lot of calls. And before I get into the head coach stuff, you had quite a lot of calls and quite a lot of platitudes from people. And I just wanted to just very briefly let you know what it has meant to me having StoryLine over the last year and more. Because around here, you turn every corner and someone's talking about soccer, but there's not a lot of people talking about football and the Cowboys. And so to be able to have this, even if I'm not calling in, to be able to have this and listen to some really, really knowledgeable people, passionate people talking about the Cowboys, and to listen to you and the knowledge that you bring to it. And when I have called in, there are two calls that I've made this year that come to my mind, which is after the Cleveland game when I was high as a kite, we'd signed Dak, we'd signed CD, we were heading to the Super Bowl. And then after the Lions game, when quite different, and I went on a proper rant. And whether or not you agreed with every word I was saying, you kind of validated the view. And you're very calm and very level and very measured as a host. You know, it's really, you never make anyone feel silly about their view, and you listen and you give your response. So a big thank you, and long may it continue. And I'm enjoying the success of the show.
Yeah, well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. I say it all the time. Everyone's opinion is undefeated. So, you know, we share different viewpoints, but if it's your opinion, then you're right. You are right. Doesn't mean that I agree or you agree or anyone agrees, but, you know, and maybe some people are misguided, misinformed. Sometimes that happens. But no, I mean, if that's what you see, that's how you see it, then you're certainly right about it. I've learned that a long time ago. From people in the building that would kind of tell me differently, like, no, you're wrong. And I'm like, no, you know, it always bothers me when people say that about someone's opinion. So I really try to share that approach with you guys as well. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you. And so let's get into some more opinions. I unfortunately, I haven't been listening to much of the show because I've been trying to get in because, as always, you're very, very popular. What is going on? It sounds like we made no approach for Johnson or Glenn, and those two are pretty much tied up now, or we did approach and they weren't interested in talking to us. We're the richest sports team in the world by a distance, and we're shopping in the pound shop, the dollar store, sorry. We're shopping in the dollar store for our head coach. And Brian Schottenheimer may be brilliant, I don't know, but I don't want to spend money for the sake of spending money, but let's at least have a conversation with some of the top guys. You know, I've never been overly pro or anti Jerry. I don't join in with a lot of the anti-Jerry rants, but the statistic that's doing the rounds about how long it's been since teams were in the NFC Championship, and I'm sure, you know, it's double for us than it is for, I think, the Bears the next 15 years. And I know that, you know, a fumble here or an interception there might have changed that along the way, but that is a damning statistic. And, you know, you do what you've always done, you get what you've always got, and here we are again in the bargain basement, and it's just very, very hard to get excited. And I don't know if you've got any kind of words of encouragement that might make us feel a little bit better about it.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Thank you for the call. Thank you for the support.
Thank you.
You know, I said it before, and I didn't mean this as a shot to those guys, especially Schottenheimer, but I just think, and I'm going to reiterate what their strengths are. If he's the next head coach of the Cowboys, it's going to be for things that you haven't seen. You just haven't seen it. The people here in the building, he's obviously impressed. You know, the people, enough of the people in the way he goes about his business, the way he's handled and a unique situation to be the offensive coordinator, but not call the plays and all that. And I think that people understand what he's done, the success that he's had, or at least the places that he's been, and he gets jobs. He's definitely done that, and I think he can hit that personality of whatever happens in those interviews is going to carry over to the team as well. So again, I'm not saying he will be the next coach, but if he is, it's going to be for some things that you haven't necessarily seen, and that it's going to have to be he'll have to prove it. And that's the way it is for everybody, every coach. I mean, think about it. When Dan Campbell took the job with Detroit, he made all kind of headlines because of the way he went up there and approached that and attacked that press conference, and we're going to bite people's kneecaps and all that kind of stuff. But if they didn't win, it would just be a YouTube video that we would, everyone would laugh at now. But it worked. It worked, but he wasn't proven either, but he went in there and just like Ben Johnson with the Bears and all that, all this stuff sounds good, but you got to go win. It doesn't matter. So if he's not going to have, some coaches are going to be, some fan bases, Chicago's fan base is probably just through the roof right now because they've got Ben Johnson, and the Cowboys fan base is probably not going to be excited about who they have as their head coach, but all of that changes if you go out there and you start winning, and we all know that. Everybody knows that. That's the biggest, that's the most obvious comment of all time. So, all right, let's go to Anthony in Miami.
Mr. Nick Keatman, baby, how you doing, baby?
What's up, man?
Hey, Anthony's out there filling her up on pump 8 out there. I'm holding it down till he gets back. Nick.
All right.
Wasn't it great to see Jerry in a dramatic role on the best damn show on TV, Landman? Wasn't it just great there?
Yep. What's up? What do you got, man?
Give me the phone, Barry.
All right, thank you.
Barry took that trophy.
Thanks for
hey,
everybody.
Nick, what's up, my guy? How
what's
you
up?
doing?
How are you?
I'm doing good, Nick. Hey, I got something real easy and real quick, man. It's just a draft wish list. I want to get mine out the way now, man. I need these 4 positions, man. I thought long and hard on this one. We all kind of know running back, D tackle, guard, because you don't know what Zach's going to do, and you don't know if we're going to sign Brock.
Yeah.
But one of the key positions we need is not just the receiver, because you got 4 of them, Mingo, them, and all besides CD. So you got receivers. We're missing a slot receiver because if you notice, our tight ends haven't been able to do that possession thing across the middle and be the quarterback's best friend like they should have or like they did a year ago.
Right.
So we get that slot receiver, a key slot receiver, get an impactful DT, impactful running back, and a guard. Man, we're going to be all right. I just wanted to play around with you a little bit.
Yeah,
got a lot going today. And just holler at you today, man.
I appreciate it. All right.
Oh, man.
Hey,
Yes,
I agree with you on the slot receiver. I mean, a speedy guy. I mean, Turpin really isn't a slot guy. That's not really his role. I mean, he's that type of body type. But I do think that they need a little bit more of a playmaker at receiver. Now, I've seen mock drafts. I think it was old Nane Brugler had Luther Burden as the receiver from Missouri as a draft going to the Cowboys at 12. I can't say I'd be okay with that. I think you do need another playmaker, but if you can't get it blocked up front, it doesn't really matter. I think you got to get. I'm fine with an offensive line. Any guard or tackle. I'd be fine with a defensive tackle, even an edge rusher. I'd be fine with that. More edge rushers you can get, the better. And if it's the running back, then I definitely got to make sure and address guard and tackle at other ways as well. But all right, let's keep it going. Let's go, Rob in Vegas.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Rob.
How you doing?
Oh well, I'm fine. I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm good. I mean, it's just laughable. I mean, Schottenheimer and Kellen Moore are the same guy, except one can grow facial hair and the other one can't. Neither has any business being the head coach of any team, let alone the Dallas Cowboys. And I've said it before, believe Jerry when he talks. He's 82 years old, so when he tells you, I bought this effing team and I could do whatever I want, believe him. He doesn't care about winning like people say he does. It'd be a bonus, but being comfortable and being relevant are more important, and it shows.
So
And
who do you
and-
want to be the head coach? Who do you want to be the head? I mean, I'm sorry, Rob. We've heard that rant, and we've heard that rant before. So who do you want here on Wednesday, January 22nd? Who do you want to be the head coach?
Bill Belichick. Go get the best coach, Bill Belichick. He's available. Jerry raves about him. Jerry says he's he's the greatest coach. Well, you have the ability to go get him. You not making the move to get him is telling us you don't want to win. You wanted some puppet. Aaron Glenn, we just talked about it. He's probably the best guy available right now. You didn't even call him.
Yeah.
You had Mike Vrabel was out there. You didn't call him. You're past, but you're the third best team in the division now. You're falling further and further behind. Your quarterback is falling further behind because of the injuries. I mean, I just don't get it. You have the ability to get these guys, and you're going to try to sell Schottenheimer or a Kellen Moore to the fan base. And, Nick, you keep saying fans are going to be there. I'm not going to be there. I got other stuff to do. Will I watch the games? Sure, once in a while. But I turned off more games this year than ever. And that's how fans need to do it.
Right.
I mean,
all right.
Just don't buy the product just because it's a product. No, we deserve better. And the ability to do better is staring us in the face. And he's telling us, I don't care.
Okay.
I'm going to do what I want to do.
All right, Rob. Thanks for the call, and I get the frustration. I mean, I understand it. It's clear, what type of coach that certain fans want. That obviously that Rob would want. And Mike Vrabel. Now that. You mentioned his name. I mean, that seemed like that was done pretty quickly there in New England. I don't even think McCarthy was out of contract when all that happened. And I'll be honest. I mean, that one kind of surprised me of why he was getting so much love and attention. I mean, I think he went to the playoffs once with Tennessee, but then got fired. So. But who knows? Maybe they'll be better there. And I know there's some other names. I mean, Aaron Glenn, that sounds great too. I mean, Aaron Glenn, he seems like he's. I said it. I think that would be a good hire. I'm not sure why the Cowboys haven't gone that way. What they're trying to do, and I don't believe any fan that calls this show is gonna be done. Done with it. You can be frustrated for a little bit, but we are Cowboy fans. It doesn't, we don't choose to be. And I've said that many times. It chooses us, and it's so I don't necessarily believe that anybody is going to say, "Oh, I'm done" or "I'm turning it off." You turned it off because it was, you're down 30 points or 20 points or whatever. But turned it back on, and that's what we do. That's what we do. Again. I'm not sitting here trying to advocate for some of these coaches. I don't necessarily think that's the right way. I don't know how you could be excited about it. But what you get excited about is the season, a new season, a new start, and I'll tell you this: the expectations would be very low. So it wouldn't be hard for some of these coaches that they're talking about to have some success based off of expectations, because they can't start much lower than what it seems like it's going to be if that is the case. Again, we've talked about it before. Let's let fans do what they're going to do. If somebody says, "Hey, I'm done," whatever, but telling other fans what to do and how to fan and all that stuff, we don't do that around here. We know that. So, all right, let's go to Ali in Florida.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
Pretty good, buddy. We miss you.
Thank you.
Please tell Derek because Texas lost, don't take his aggravation on StoryLiners to give us once a week. Just give us a little love.
Okay.
Having said that, the quote that says, "Show me the money" in the movie.
Right.
And I think you are so right. The money has a lot to do with it. Because right now, I believe the head coach of Minnesota got, I think, $20 million a year. I don't know, but that's what I heard. So just all these big coaches, they're going to have big salaries. But having said that, because right now we lost the coach, the fans' expectation is a little bit lower because it's a new coach. Then they're going to give him some time. I think if you're going to choose between Kellen and Shoddy, I will go. I know you don't agree with it. I'll go take Jason Witten, and I would hire Romo as the offensive coordinator. Romo's towards the end of his life, in his career, he is so knowledgeable. I would rather take a shot with them and lose than try Kellen and Shoddy. That's all I have. Love you, brother.
All right.
Miss you. And please tell Derek to give us a little love, to give us two show per week. Bye.
Appreciate it. One thing about Romo, I think he makes more than all of the offensive coaches and probably most of the staff combined. And Monday through Friday, maybe Monday through Thursday, he's at home. And then, maybe studying maybe, but and then goes and does the games on the weekend. You don't see a lot of guys that go from TV back to coaching. It's a good good gig, and you make a lot of money, and you still you could throw out your opinion, and you spend a lot more time with your family. So and I don't see Romo being the assistant to Witten or anybody. I just don't see that happening. It's good. It's fun to talk about, but I don't think that's going to be the case there. You made another point, though, about the coaching and the salaries, and this is probably what I think Rob was talking about, and I've heard some others as well. Like, nobody wants to hear well, that's just the way Jerry is about the coaches. He just doesn't pay the coach. Nobody wants to hear that. There's no salary cap there. You have a helicopter. You have a yacht. You can do all this stuff. Other teams are doing it with a lot less money. That's just what they choose to do. So no fan, I'll tell this, no fan wants to hear that that's how it is in Dallas because, they just don't have the money for it or they just don't choose to. That's not something that fan will want to hear. They understand the salary cap, and that one is tough to understand. So, I agree with that. I mean, that you would think that, he could go and do that and pay to pay top dollar for a coach. And I would think if there was one that he thought, would really come in and make a difference, he would do that. Belichick would have been the one. Again, I don't know that situation in North Carolina right now. I think you could go get him. I know there's a buyout. Maybe he hasn't signed it. I'm not sure that whole deal. I kind of closed that chapter when he went up to North Carolina. But anyways, I understand the fans' frustration there. You understand the cap for the players, but for a coach, if there was one out there, I mean, why not try to pay top dollar? So that one, I'm sure, is always a head scratcher for fans. All right, let's go to one more break. Actually, let's take a break here on Cowboys Storyline. I'll be right back after this.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
There is no I in Dallas. There is no I in Hart either. No I in Blue Star or in Lone Star for that matter. And there's no I in how about them Cowboys? Smirnoff knows there's no I in football. Football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together. With good drinks and good folks, home or away, we rally together, we cry together, and we always rally cry together because there's definitely no I in Cowboys fans. Smirnoff, we do game days. Please drink responsibly.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
The biggest names in tennis head to the Ford Center at the Star in Frisco this February. You can catch all the hard-hitting action and witness the top players on tour compete live. Tickets are available now at SeatGeek.com. Got some tennis action going on at the Ford Center. All right, let's keep this thing going here. Let's go back to the phone line. Is it Lester in Minnesota that's next? Lester.
Good morning, Nick.
How are you?
Sorry I couldn't get in last week, man. I tried, but I know we're talking about the head coaches. My thing is I know you've said it and a couple other people said it. Let's go get the best available out there because there's no salary cap on the head coaching. Mm-hmm. So we don't really want to hear that about he don't pay this or whatever. These are the coaches. I mean, I don't even like some of these coaches, but I think we need a leader of men, not someone that just is new. Well, you can give someone a chance if they're new. Okay, that's fine, but I'd rather have a leader of men. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So here's my little list. I don't really care for his coaching style, but he's the best to me. Belichick. If not Belichick, Rex Ryan. If not Rex Ryan, Chucky. I don't really care for Chucky either, but that's okay. Pete Carroll. And then if I want to give, in my opinion, if I want to give what's left of the list, if I want to give a new coach a chance, I would go with Glenn. Now, also, what happened to Dion? I mean, I heard Dion name a few times, and then he would have really been at the top of my list, but I guess he's not available anymore. I'm not sure. But that's my list. And also, as I always say, until we get a very good offense and defensive line, this is what we got. You know, Cowboy fans, no matter who the head coach is, we need both of those things at the same time.
Okay. All right, Lester. Appreciate that. I'll answer that. You know, obviously your mindset big name, loud voice, and with some experience behind it. I don't think that's what the Cowboys are looking at least. There was a phone call to Dion. I think it was just that. I don't think that. I mean, there was not an official interview, and it was not done for the Rooney Rule or anything like that. It was two guys that are very similar in what their agenda was, and I think with that phone call, and two business people probably trying to help each other out at the same time. That's really what I think that was. I don't think there was a lot of interest there, Dion being the head coach of the team, and I don't think Dion really wants to be in the NFL right now, unless he's coaching his son, and definitely not trying to go up against him twice a year. So I don't see that being a situation that was ever really gonna happen here. Let's go to Zach in Germany.
Hey, Nick, how are you?
Good. How are you? Good to hear from you.
Good, brother. Sorry, it's been a little while. Got a couple questions for you today. So we'll start with the first one. Which one do you think hurts worse? For the Cowboys, watching Dan Quinn take a rookie quarterback to the NFC Championship game, or the Giants watching Saquon lead Philly to the championship game?
The Giants, because they let him go. They let him go. They couldn't make it work, and I don't think the Cowboys weren't in the same position to keep Dan. They could have fired their head coach and promoted Dan Quinn. That would have been bad optics, I think. And it probably it's both. It hurts both. I mean, what about the Cowboys just watching Philly go to the Super Bowl? I mean, even at that, I mean, there's not going to be a good scenario coming out of it on Sunday. I mean, like there's somebody's going to the Super Bowl that you've grown up hating. So that's a reality. Philly versus Washington in the Super Bowl. I mean, and for a chance to go to the Super Bowl is about as bad as it gets for a Cowboy fan.
100%. I agree. And the only thing that I guess you can add with the Dan Quinn piece is he's doing it with a rookie quarterback, which is even more impressive. I think Dan hung around. I think personally, Dan wanted to get the opportunity to head coach the Cowboys. I know they were paying him that type of money, and he had other opportunities 2 years ago and last year, and he decided to stay. But I wish him the best.
Yeah.
Second question: for our head coaching search, would you prefer an offensive-minded coach or a defensive-minded coach? And with that, one, why? And two, if they could get you to being a top 5 either offense or top 5 defense, which one would you prefer?
Okay. Appreciate that. Man. I would thank you. Thanks for the call. I would take a top 5 offense. I take a top 5 offense because I think having a great offense can help your defense a little bit more than a great defense helps your offense. I mean, we've seen it both ways. We've seen it both ways. But offenses are really good. Even the great defenses, sometimes you're going to give up some points. But I think in this case, I would take, especially the way this team is structured and what you're paying Dak a lot of money, you're paying CD a lot of money. I would get I would definitely get an offensive coach. Now, as far as what kind of mindset for your head coach, that one's a little tricky because who's calling the plays? Like if I could see both scenarios here. If Robert Saleh was the head coach, and you had an offensive coordinator that you really liked, that worked well with Dak, maybe that was Schottenheimer, I would be fine with that. If Schottenheimer or Kellen Moore is the head coach, then I want a veteran defensive, coordinator as well. So one way or another, I think that those two have to balance. But you're asking me who I would rather have. If I'd rather have a top 5 offense or a top 5 defense, I think I would take the top 5 offense. Give me a team that's scoring points and always giving me a chance to go down and you can come back from games if you need to. You step on their throat because you just got a great, you're probably going to be really balanced. In this day and age, I would probably take a top 5 offense over a defense. Good question though. Erwin in Colorado.
Hey Nick, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. A little cold up here, a little snowy, but we're dealing with it.
Well, isn't that what happens when you move to Colorado? I mean, in January. I mean, isn't that kind of expected, right?
Oh, it's always expected for sure. We're used to it. It's we look forward to the 4 seasons anyway. But listen, Nick, I was listening to Rob, and I kind of agree with him in most of his stuff, but not everything. And that's usually the case with Rob when he's calling in. I don't usually agree with him with everything. I have a question for you. Does Jerry Jones listen to your podcast? Do you know?
Man, I hope not. No, I don't think so. I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I just wanted to say that watching that last playoff game with Washington, I couldn't help but be happy for them. And that sounds crazy because I really dislike them. Mm-hmm. But it was just because, they seem to be really building something really good there, the ownership, the coaches, just everything in general. And I just couldn't help but think when they were doing that to Detroit, what Jerry Jones was thinking. And I don't know if he ever listens to any of these shows or if he even cares to hear what the fans have to think or not. But just wanted to get your thoughts on that. And one more thing. If it was my decision, I would hire Robert Saleh and possibly go after Lincoln Riley as the offensive coordinator. And I'd just like to get your thoughts on that. What do you think?
Well, I don't see head coaches in college going to be offensive coordinators in the NFL. I mean, I just don't see that. I mean,
But didn't Jimmy Johnson do that when he took over? Didn't he bring in college coordinators? And I know it was a little rough start, but they got it all worked out. What did Jerry?
But wait, Lincoln Riley's the head coach at USC, right? I mean, did I miss that?
He is. Yes, he absolutely is.
Yeah, I don't see a head coach of a college team going to be the offensive coordinator in the NFL. I don't see that happening, especially when you're talking about the money and what teams are getting paid to do. I just don't see that happening. I think he would get a pay cut to be the head coach of the team. From I don't know this, but I would think that Lincoln Riley probably makes more money at USC than what would be offered as the head coach here. I think. I don't know that though. But so certainly offense coordinator. That's why that's tough for me to say. Oh, I think that would happen because I just don't see. I mean, you're the CEO of your college team, and you handle a lot more situations there. To come here and be the offensive coordinator, I don't know if I see that. Unless you were fired, don't have an option, then maybe that's what happens.
Yeah, but that could be. I mean, thinking about his future, if he was willing to do that, then maybe things didn't work out with Saleh. You could possibly look at absolutely moving him up to the head coach position.
Maybe. Again, that sounds great. I just can't see the play for him saying this was a smart move for me. If he doesn't work out at USC and he gets fired, he's going to have a head coaching job in college again. I mean, he'll have an opportunity to do that. So I just don't see as a head coach going backwards to an offensive coordinator at his point in his career. I don't see that. If you see it, that's fine. I don't know. That would be a surprise for me.
Yeah.
So all right, Erwin, appreciate it. Let's keep it going. Rick in Webster, Massachusetts. Rick, what's up?
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. How was your week?
Good. What's going on?
What's going on? I'm just listen to from what Rob said earlier. So some stuff I agree with, sometimes I don't. As far as the head coaching type thing goes, I don't think we would ever had a shot at Vrabel because it was too quick.
Yeah.
And Belichick, it's his decision. He wanted to, before the season ended. He had feelers around. He had his people call around. There's no way. He doesn't think anybody would have hired him. So he said, I got to go get a job. I'll go where I want it. So I'll go to college.
Yeah.
So I don't think they had any of those two anyways. Yeah, they probably should have put a call out to, is Johnson or Glenn's agent and said, hey, we'd just like to get maybe we can set something up. And then you find out Johnson doesn't want to do anything. He has a place that he wants to go. He probably wanted to go to Chicago many times, and then he said now he had the opportunity to, I'm going to take the Chicago job. I don't care what everybody else thinks.
Yeah.
But Glenn, since Glenn left, or he didn't sign any contract with the Jets, maybe he's trying to think it over, or maybe try to look for something. So who knows with that one? But I would hire Saleh and just let Saleh pick who he wants to be, because when he was at the Jets, they didn't really get a fair shake, and he's like, no, you're going to have this offensive coordinator, you're going to have this thing, because that's what Rodgers wants.
Yeah.
So I'll give Saleh a chance and see what he can do with his people that he wanted there.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. As we mentioned before, some of that happens here in Dallas too. I mean, some of that is, I have a feeling that Schottenheimer is probably going to be here as either the head coach or the coordinator. So you got that going on as well. You could hire a Robert Saleh or whatever, but he might have his offensive coordinator already picked. Again, I don't know that. I'm just saying, if you're saying, well, they didn't get a fair shake with the Jets because this happened and this happened, some of that's happening here. Maybe that happens at all places. I can't say that I know that. I don't know if Ben Johnson goes to Chicago with guys already in place. I doubt it, at least in that scenario. But again, it's all still up in the air. It's going to be an interesting next few days for sure. When the weekend hits, I would imagine we've got some news going on for sure. All right, let's go one more call here. This is Sheriff Lonnie. He's in Kansas. What's up, man?
Oh, not much. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. Hey, just a quick one on Schotty. He's familiar. I think Jerry's going to go stay with familiarity, and like it or not, they're only going to pay so much money. I'd like to see Aaron Glenn maybe come in. He is familiar, and but let's get him in there and get what kind of offense they're going to have, defense they're going to have, the coaches are going to have, and get ready to figure out who's the best pick for the drafts. And that's all I got.
All right. I appreciate it. Yep. Familiarity seems to be the theme here. The only difference is, I would say, of the three that they've interviewed four, I would say the top three would be Schottenheimer, Kellen Moore, and Saleh. And Saleh really doesn't have those ties like that. But that's kind of where it is right now. And we've kind of, and I appreciate you guys for calling in, having some really good opinions, some different ideas, some out there, some right on the money. Who knows what this is going to be? And this isn't an easy show to do here on this Wednesday morning, knowing that maybe by the end of the day there's going to be some changes here. I would say definitely by the end of the week. I think we'll know something, but anything could break here sooner than later. And if it does, then I stand right now saying that Schottenheimer is probably the leader in the clubhouse as it stands right now. But things change quickly around here, and we'll see what happens. Appreciate it, guys. Great show. Love 16 calls is outstanding, and love to hear from all you guys and your opinions. I get the frustration just not knowing where things stand, but we'll find something out here probably sooner than later. So for Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. We'll see you next Wednesday on Cowboys Storyline.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!